Hello, hi. I am GV Srinivas Rao, Principal Atomic Energy Central School, Kodamkulam. The present chapter is Basic Concepts of Chemistry, Module 3. In this module, we discuss the balancing of chemical equations, concentration methods of solution, that is mass percentage, molarity, molality, mole fraction, normality, parts per million, and numericals. Chemical equations. Representation of a chemical reaction in terms of symbols and formulae of reactants and products is called chemical reaction. Now let us see an example. Burning of sulfur in air gives sulfur dioxide. Sulfur plus oxygen gives sulfur dioxide. S plus O2 gives SO2. We know that from law of conservation of mass, atoms are neither created nor destroyed. And during a chemical change, the number of atoms of different elements should be equal on reactant side and product side. If the number of atoms on either side are not equal, it gives an idea that the law of conservation of mass does not hold good. If the number of atoms of different elements and compounds are not equal, then they should be equalized. In this example, on reactant side there is one sulfur atom and on product side there is one sulfur atom, and number of oxygens is 2 and 2 on either side. Therefore, this reaction is referred as self-balanced. There is no need to balance again. Thus, such reaction is known as balanced chemical equation. Now let us write the equation for the reaction. Zinc reacts with hydrochloric acid to form zinc chloride and hydrogen. Zinc plus hydrochloric acid gives zinc chloride plus hydrogen. Here, if we write the equation for this reaction, zinc plus HCl gives zinc chloride plus hydrogen. So in the reaction just now we discussed, there is one zinc atom on reactant side and one zinc atom on product side, whereas one hydrogen and one chlorine atom on reactant side and two chlorines and two hydrogen atoms on product side. Therefore, this reaction is not balanced. So to balance such reaction, if we take two molecules of hydrochloric acid, then we get zinc chloride, two chlorine atoms are there and plus two hydrogen atoms. Therefore, the reaction is balanced. So a chemical reaction in which the number of atoms of each element is equal on reactant side and product side is called balanced chemical equation. While writing a chemical reaction, we have to keep the point in mind that it should be balanced, and while representing the elements like hydrogen, oxygen, etc. should be in their molecular form, that is H2, N2, O2, etc. Information given by an equation. A chemical equation talks about the names of various reactants and products. So in this reaction, N2 plus 3H2 gives 2NH3. The reactants are nitrogen and hydrogen, whereas the product is ammonia. It also expresses that the relative number of molecules and moles of reactants and products. So in this reaction, 1 mole of nitrogen combines with 3 moles of hydrogen and we get 2 moles of ammonia. Or otherwise, we can understand in this way also as 1 molecule of nitrogen combines with 3 molecules of hydrogen and we get 2 molecules of ammonia. Or otherwise, 1 volume of nitrogen reacts with 3 volumes of hydrogen and we get 2 volumes of ammonia. It also gives the masses of the different substances, that is 28 grams of nitrogen react with 6 grams of hydrogen and we get 34 grams of ammonia. For a chemical reaction, the physical states of different substances should be mentioned in bracket. If it is solid, yes. If it is gas, G. If it is aqueous solution, AQ should be kept in the brackets adjacent to the reactants and products. So here nitrogen, hydrogen, the reactants are gases and product is also gas. Therefore, N2G plus 3H2G gives 2NH3G. The following points are to be kept in mind while balancing the chemical equation. Elementary gases like oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, fluorine, chlorine, and bromine in liquid state should be in their molecular formula as O2, H2, N2, F2, Cl2, and Br2. While balancing the chemical equations, the chemical formula of any substance should not be changed for the convenience. For balancing of chemical equations, suitable number of molecules can be taken. Let us see an example. Write the balanced chemical equation for the reaction. Heating of potassium chlorate gives potassium chloride and oxygen. Potassium chlorate is KClO3, potassium chloride is KCl, plus oxygen O2. Here, reactants, on reactant side there is 1 potassium and 1 chlorine and 3 oxygen atoms, whereas on product side there is 1 potassium, 1 chlorine and 2 oxygen atoms. Even if one element is not balanced, the whole equation is said to be not balanced. Therefore, the equation should be balanced. So here, if you take 2 units of potassium chlorate on reactant side, then it has 2 potassium atoms and 2 chlorine atoms and 2 into 3, 6 oxygen atoms. Therefore, on product side, if you take 2 potassium chloride units and 3 oxygen units, then it becomes 2 potassiums and 2 chlorine atoms and 3 into 2, 6 oxygen atoms. Thus, this equation is balanced. Now, the equation should be mentioned with the physical conditions like heating, temperature, pressure, etc. So, here the equation, the reaction is possible only when potassium chlorate is heated. Therefore, heating should be mentioned here. So 2 KClO3 on heating gives 2 KCl plus oxygen. Limiting reagent. In the example of 2 hydrogens plus 2 oxygen molecules gives 2 water molecules. From the experiments, it is understood that 2 moles of hydrogen combines with 1 mole of oxygen and we get water. In the equation, it is given that 2 moles of hydrogen and 2 moles of oxygen are kept in reaction mixture. But as per the experiment, 2 moles of hydrogen combines with only 1 mole of oxygen. Because the 2 moles of hydrogen is exhausted, the reaction comes to an end. Therefore, some of the oxygen is left unreacted. As the amount of hydrogen is exhausted, the reaction is stopped, and such a reactant due to which the reaction comes to an end is called limiting reagent. Limiting reagent need not be the same in all the reactions. So, limiting reagent depending on the amount of substance present. Suppose if we take in the same reaction, if 1 mole of oxygen and 1 mole of hydrogen is taken, then also the hydrogen is the limiting reagent. On the other hand, if we take 2 moles of hydrogen and half mole of oxygen, then because of the oxygen is exhausted, the reaction comes to an end. Therefore, oxygen becomes the limiting reagent. Now let us see an example. Question number 1.24 from NCERT textbook. Dinitrogen and dihydrogen react with each other to produce ammonia according to this equation. N2 plus 3H2 gives 2NH3. Calculate the mass of ammonia produced if 2.0 into 10 power 3 grams of dinitrogen react with 1.0 into 10 power 3 gram of dihydrogen. Will any of the two reactants remain unreacted? If yes, 1, and what be its mass? So from the equation, it is understood that 1 mole of nitrogen combines with 3 moles of hydrogen. So the quantities of hydrogen and nitrogen, 28 grams of nitrogen combines with 6 grams of oxygen, as we know from the reaction. Now the amount of nitrogen given is 2 into 10 power 3, then what should be the mass of hydrogen? So from calculations, we get the mass of hydrogen reacted with the given amount of hydrogen is 0.428 into 10 power 3 gram. The total amount of hydrogen available is 1.0 into 10 power 3, or which is equal to 10.0 into 10 power 2 grams. The amount of hydrogen reacted equal to 0.428 into 10 power 3, which is written as 4.28 into 10 power 2. So the amount of unreacted hydrogen equal to 10 minus 4.28 is equal to 5.72 into 10 power 2 grams. So here certain amount of hydrogen is left unreacted because of the amount of nitrogen is exhausted. Therefore, the limiting reagent is nitrogen. Majority of reactions are carried out in solutions. Therefore, it is important to understand how the amount of substance is expressed in it present in the solution. Now let us discuss the concentration methods of solution. So the concentration methods are mass percentage or weight percent, molarity, molality, normality, mole fraction, parts per million. Now let us discuss about each and every of these methods. Mass percentage of solute is equal to mass of the solute by mass of solution into 100. Molarity is defined as the number of moles of solute present in 1 liter of solution. Therefore, molarity equal to number of moles of solute by volume of solution in liters. If weight of the solute is W and molar mass of solute is M, then number of moles is equal to weight of the substance by molar mass of the substance, that is solute. If the volume is given in milliliters, V milliliters, then volume in liters equal to VML by 1000. Therefore, molarity equal to W into 1000 by M into VML. Now let us work out a numerical based on molarity. This is question number 1.11 from NCERT textbook. What is the concentration of sugar C12H22O11 in mole per liter if its 20 grams are dissolved in enough water to make a final volume of 2 liters? Now molar mass of sugar. Molecular formula of sugar is given as C12H22O11. Therefore, molar mass of sugar is obtained by multiplying number of atoms of each and every element present in the formula with their atomic mass. So 12 atoms of carbon into atomic mass 12, 22 atoms of hydrogen into its atomic mass, and 11 atoms of oxygen into atomic mass of oxygen, that is 16. Therefore, the molar mass of sugar is 342 gram per mole. That means 1 mole of sugar equal to 342 grams. Now weight of the sugar given in the solution is 20 grams. Now the number of moles of sugar present in 20 grams equal to weight of the substance by molar mass. So 20 by 342, which is equal to 0.0584 mole. Now the volume of the solution given here is 2 liters. Now molarity equal to number of moles of solute by volume of the solution in liters. So this is 20 by 342 is the number of moles and volume of solution is 2 liters. Therefore 20 by 342 into 2, which is equal to 0.0292 mole per liter. The unit of molarity is M, which is nothing but mole per liter. That means in 1 liter of solution, 0.0292 mole of sugar is present. Now let us do another problem, question number 1.12. If the density of methanol is 0.793 kilogram per liter, what is its volume needed for making 2.5 liters of its 0.25 M solution? Density of methanol is 0.793 kilogram per liter, which is equal to 0.793 gram per centimeter cube. Now molarity of the solution is 0.25 M, which is understood as 0.25 mole of methanol is present in 1 liter of solution or 1000 ml of solution. Now number of moles in 2.5 liters equal to 2.5 into 0.25. So in 1 liter we have 0.25 mole. In 2.5 liter how much? So 2.5 into 0.25, which is nothing but 0.625 mole of the substance is present in 2.5 liters of methanol solution. Now mass of 0.625 moles of methanol equal to mass equal to number of moles into molar mass. So 0.625 into 32 equal to 20 grams. Now volume required equal to mass by density. Mass is 20 grams and density is 0.793, which is equal to 25.22 ml. So 25.22 ml of methanol is required to prepare its so the 2.5 liters of solution in water. Molality. Molality is defined as the number of moles of solute present in 1 kilogram of solvent. Molality equal to number of moles of solute by mass of the solvent in kilograms. So which is equal to W by M by G grams by 1000. Now let us do one calculation based on molality. The density of a 3M solution of sodium chloride is 1.25 gram per milliliter. Calculate the molality of solution. Now the molarity is 3M, which is understood as 3 moles of a solute is present in 1 liter. So mass of sodium chloride in 1 liter equal to number of moles into molar mass. Since we have 3 moles in 1 liter, 3 moles into 58.5 equal to 175.5 grams. That means in 1 liter of solution we have 175.5 grams of sodium chloride. Density of the solution is given as 1.25 gram per milliliter. That means 1000 ml of solution has a mass of 1250 grams. Note that this 1250 grams has a solute and solvent. So mass of the solute plus mass of solvent equal to 1250 grams. We already calculated the mass of the solute, that is sodium chloride, as 175.5. So 175.5 plus mass of solvent equal to 1250 grams. Therefore mass of solvent, that is water, is equal to 1074.5 grams. Now molality is equal to number of moles of solute by mass of the solvent in kilograms. Number of moles is already given as 3 moles. So number of moles of solute 3 by mass of the solvent 1074.5 by 1000. So here we converted this grams into kilograms. Therefore equal to 3 by 1.0745 equal to 2.75 molal. So the unit of molality is small m. Please note that the difference between molarity and molality. Molarity is a number of moles of solute present in 1 liter of solution, whereas molality is the number of moles of solute present in 1 kilogram of solvent. Mole fraction. Mole fraction of solute is the number of moles of solute to the total number of moles of solution. So mole fraction equal to number of moles of solute by number of moles of solution, and the solution has solute plus solvent. Therefore number of moles of solute by number of moles of solute plus number of moles of solvent. If we take Na as a number of moles of solute and Nb as a number of moles of solvent, then mole fraction of solute equal to Na by Na plus Nb. We can also find the mole fraction of solvent, that is Nb by Na plus Nb. Now let us solve a numerical based on mole fraction. Question number 1.29. Calculate the molarity of the solution of ethanol in water, in which the mole fraction of ethanol is 0.04. Now mole fraction, as we know, Na by Na plus Nb equal to 0.04. As molarity of the solution is to be found, amount of water to be taken is 1 kilogram equal to 1000 ml. Therefore number of moles of water present in 1000 grams equal to weight of the substance by molar mass. Here weight of the substance is 1000 grams and molar mass is 18. Therefore number of moles of water present in 1 kilogram or 1 liter equal to 55.55. Since this number of moles of water present in its 1 liter, thus the molarity of water is 55.55. Now mole fraction equal to Na by Na plus Nb equal to 0.40. So here mole fraction is 0.40 equal to Na by Na plus number of moles of water is 55.55, which is equal to Na equal to 0.04 Na plus 0.04 into 55.55. Thus bring this 0.04 to this side. Na minus 0.04 Na equal to 2.222, which is equal to 0.96 Na equal to 2.222. Therefore, Na equal to 2.314. So, since these number of moles of solute present in 1 liter of water, therefore molarity is nothing but 2.314 m. Till now we discussed certain numericals. So, based on the knowledge of that discussion, you can work out these problems. Question number 1.5, question number 1.6. Let us discuss one more problem. Calcium carbonate reacts with aqueous hydrochloric acid to give calcium chloride and carbon dioxide according to the reaction. CaCO3 plus 2HCl gives CaCl2 plus H2O plus CO2. What mass of calcium carbonate is required to react completely with 25 ml of 0.75 m HCl? Molarity of HCl is 0.75 m, which means 1 liter of its solution has 0.75 mole, and volume of the solution given is 25 ml. So mass of 0.75 m of HCl equal to number of moles into molar mass, 0.75 into 36.5 equal to 27.375 gram. This 27.375 gram of substance is present in 1000 ml. Therefore, amount of substance present in 25 ml equal to 25 by 1000 into 27.375, which is equal to 0.6844 gram. That means the amount of hydrochloric acid available for the reaction with calcium carbonate is 0.6844. So, from the balanced chemical equation given in the problem, calcium carbonate plus 2HCl, that is 100 grams of calcium carbonate reacts with 2 into 36.5 grams to get products. Now available HCl is 0.6844. Then what should be the mass of calcium carbonate required? So mass of calcium carbonate required equal to 0.6844 by 2 into 36.5 into 100, which is equal to 0.9375 gram. Thus 0.9375 gram of calcium carbonate is required to react with 25 ml of 0.75 m HCl. Now let us learn about equivalent mass. Equivalent mass of an element is the ratio of molar mass to its valency. So equivalent mass of sodium equal to molar mass of sodium by valence of sodium, that is 23 by 1 equal to 23. Equivalent mass of magnesium equal to 24 by 2, which is equal to 12, and equivalent mass of aluminum equal to 27 by 3 equal to 9. Now let us see the basicity of an acid. Basicity of an acid is the number of ionizable H plus ions per molecule in its aqueous solution, or it is a number of different salts formed during the neutralization reaction. Now let us try to understand this with an example. HCl plus NaOH gives NaCl plus H2O. Here HCl can form only one type of salt with alkali. Therefore, since one type of salt is formed, it is called monobasic acid. On the other hand, if we take the sulfuric acid, H2SO4 plus NaOH gives NaHSO4, that is sodium hydrogen carbonate, one salt. And if the reaction goes in this way, H2SO4 plus 2 NaOH, we get Na2SO4, that is sodium sulfate. So the same sulfuric acid combines with alkali, and we are getting two types of salts, sodium hydrogen sulfate and sodium sulfate. Since the two types of salts are formed with the same alkali, this acid is referred as dibasic acid. Thus, HCl, HBr, HCN, HNO3, acetic acid are monobasic acids, and H2SO4, H2CO3, COOH taken twice, that is oxalic acid, are dibasic acids. H3PO4 is, that is phosphoric acid, it is a tribasic acid. Now let us know the equivalent mass of an acid. Equivalent mass of an acid is equal to molar mass of acid by its basicity. Equivalent mass of HCl equal to its molar mass 36.5 and basicity is 1. That is, it has only one replaceable H plus ion. So 36.5. Equivalent mass of sulfuric acid H2SO4 is equal to its molar mass 98 by basicity 2, therefore it is 49. Now, acidity of a base. Acidity of a base is the number of ionizable or replaceable hydroxyl ions per molecule in its aqueous solution, or the number of different salts formed during the neutralization. So, acidity of a base can be known by seeing the number of replaceable OH minus ions, whereas basicity of an acid can be obtained by the number of replaceable H plus ions per molecule. Now NaOH plus HCl gives NaCl only one type of salt formed, therefore it is a monoacidic base. On the other hand, magnesium hydroxide can form two types of salts, that is magnesium hydroxychloride and magnesium chloride with hydrochloric acid, therefore it is called diacidic base. Now equivalent mass of an alkali or base is equal to molar mass of alkali by its acidity. So equivalent mass of NaOH equal to molar mass 40 by 1, that is 40. Equivalent mass of magnesium hydroxide equal to its molar mass 58, acidity 2, therefore it is 29. Similarly, equivalent mass of aluminum hydroxide is 26. Now let us discuss normality. Normality is the number of gram equivalents of the substance present in 1 liter of the solution. So normality equal to number of gram equivalents by volume of solution in liters. Gram equivalent, how do we find? Gram equivalent of any substance can be found by given mass by equivalent mass. So normality equal to given mass by equivalent mass into volume of the solution in milliliters by 1000. Dilution formula. For experimental purpose in chemistry laboratory, concentration solutions are diluted by adding water. On dilution, concentration changes, but the number of moles of the solute remains unchanged. Thus, the number of moles before dilution equal to number of moles after dilution. That is M1V1 is equal to M2V2. Now let us do a numerical based on this dilution formula. 3 liters of water is added to 2 liters of 0.5 m HCl. What is the molarity of the resultant solution? Now, before dilution, the volume of the water is volume of the solution is 2 liter and its molarity, that is concentration, is 5 m. Now, after dilution, we are adding 3 liters of water to 2 liters of solution. So 2 plus 3 equal to 5 liters. Then what should be the molarity? So M1 V1 equal to M2 V2 implies M1 5 into V1 2. 5 into 2 equal to M2 we have to find, and the volume of the resultant solution is 5. Therefore, molarity of the final solution of 5 liters of solution is 2m. A welding fuel gas contains carbon and hydrogen only. Burning a sample of it gives 3.38 gram of carbon dioxide and 0.690 gram of water vapor and no other products. A volume of 10 liter measured at STP of this welding gas is found to weigh 11.6 grams. Calculate empirical formula, molar mass of the gas and molecular formula of the gas. Now in step 1, as the combustion products are only CO2 and water, the fuel gas must have only carbon and hydrogen. So the substance having carbon and hydrogen is referred as a hydrocarbon. Now, as the weight of 10 liters of gas is given as 11.6 grams, 10 liters of gas has a weight of 11.6 grams. Then 22.4 liters has how much gas? We know that the mass of 22.4 liters of gas at STP conditions is nothing but molar mass. Thus, the molar mass of the substance equal to 25.984 gram per mole. Now in step 2, let us calculate the percentage of carbon and hydrogen. Mass of carbon dioxide formed is 3.38 grams. And from the equation C plus O2 gives CO2, 44 grams of carbon dioxide has 12 grams of carbon. 3.38 gram of carbon dioxide has how much? So mass of carbon in 3.38 gram of carbon dioxide is 0.9218 gram. Similarly, mass of hydrogen in 0.69 gram of water is 0.076 gram. Now in step 3, let us find the empirical formula. As compound has only two elements, that is carbon and hydrogen, the total mass of the substance burnt equal to mass of carbon plus mass of hydrogen, which is equal to 0.9985 gram. So the percentage of carbon in the sample is calculated as 92.31 and percentage of hydrogen calculated in the sample as 7.68. Now let us take this information in a tabular form. Elements present are carbon and hydrogen, and percentage mass 92.31 and 7.68. Atomic mass of carbon is 12 and hydrogen 1. Now let us divide this percentage mass by atomic mass. Therefore we get moles of each element. So 92.31 by 12 equal to 7.69 and 7.69 moles percentage of hydrogen by 1, that is atomic mass of hydrogen, is equal to 7.68. Now to get the simplest ratio, out of these numbers divide with least number. So since both the numbers are same, therefore the simplest ratio is 1 and 1. Therefore the simplest whole number ratio of these elements is 1:1. So ratio of atoms of carbon and hydrogen is 1:1. Thus empirical formula of the sample is CH. Now empirical formula mass equal to 1 atom of carbon into its atomic mass plus 1 atom of hydrogen into its atomic mass, that is 12 plus 1 equal to 13. Now N equal to molar mass of the sample by empirical formula of the sample. Molar mass is 25.984 by empirical formula mass is 13, which is equal to 1.998 and is rounded to 2. Now we get the molecular formula equal to N into empirical formula, that is CH into 2, which is equal to, which is nothing but C2H2, and this substance is acetylene. Therefore acetylene is a fuel gas. Now let us do another problem. Question number 1.36. Chlorine is prepared in the laboratory by treating manganese dioxide MnO2 with aqueous hydrochloric acid. According to the reaction, 4HCl plus MnO2 gives 2H2O MnCl2 plus Cl2. How many grams of HCl react with 5 grams of manganese dioxide? Now 1 mole of manganese dioxide equal to 1 atom of manganese into its atomic mass, that is 1 into 55, and 2 atoms of oxygen into its atomic mass, that is 2 into 16 equal to 87 grams. Therefore 1 mole of manganese dioxide equal to 87 grams. 1 mole of HCl is 36.5 grams. Now 87 grams of manganese dioxide reacts with 4 into 36.5 as given in the equation. 4 moles of HCl reacts with 1 mole of manganese dioxide. Now mass of HCl required to react with 5 grams equal to 5 by 87 into 4 into 36.5 equal to 8.39 grams of HCl is required. Now let us work out one more problem. In an industrial area, the pollution of SO2 in air has been reported as 10 ppm by volume. Calculate the volume of SO2 per liter in air. Here in this problem, the solute is given as SO2 and it is given as a volume. So ppm equal to volume of SO2 by volume of air into 10 power 6. The given ppm is 10. So let the ppm may be in milliliters. Even we can take liters also. So 10 equal to volume of sulfur dioxide in milliliters by volume of air in milliliters into 10 power 6 as per the formula. Now 10 ml of SO2 is present in 10 power 6 milliliters of air. That is 10 ml of SO2 is present in 1000 liters of air. Amount of SO2 present in 1 liter equal to 10 by 1000, which is equal to 0.1 ml. So this is nothing but now 0.01 by 1000 liter, which is equal to 10 power minus 5 liter. Therefore, amount of SO2 present in liter is nothing but 10 power minus 5 liter. In first module, we discussed the development of chemistry and its role in different walks of life in ancient India, characteristics of states of matter and its classification, use of scientific notation and significant figures, define SI units and convert physical quantities from one form to another form, and precision and accuracy. In second module, we discussed the laws of chemical combination, Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes, Dalton's atomic theory, Avogadro's law, relative atomic mass, relative molecular mass, percentage composition, and empirical formula. In module 3, we discussed the concentration methods of solution, balancing of a chemical equation, and some numericals. With this, the basic concepts of chemistry completed. Thank you.